Samhain blessings and happy Halloween. Today is October 31st and the veil is extremely thin. We have this potentiality where we can tap into the wisdom of our ancestors to call them into our space as guides, as witnesses to our own healing. Now, when our ancestors cross over, they release the story, the earthly story, the 3D trauma, and whatever they carried here in this earthly plane. As they release their soul and their spirit back to source, they return to pure consciousness. This means that as they are on the other side, they are in that pure state where they can assist us, they can be there with us to help us on our journey so that we can overcome the story of our family line. We can overcome anything that has been passed down from generation to generation. And so one thing that is really important to note is that we were in our mother's womb. And the moment that we were conceived, we started acquiring impressions, energy, emotions of our mother. So whatever state of being she was in during pregnancy is part of our own genetic makeup. Also, as we were growing up from the ages of 0 to 7, we have imprints that are also acquired through conditioning, through what our parents grew up on, how they chose to raise us, basically. And if you didn't have your biological parents raising you, whoever your primary caregivers were, and even if that changed, if you were, say you were in foster homes and you changed from one home to another and things had shifted and changed, these primary caregivers were part of the conditioning of who you became as a covering. And I say a covering, I think of it like a mask. So this is coming through because right now I'm in the midst of taking on a 1,000-day meditation challenge with myself. It's part of the Kundalini yoga process to move into level 3 training, where you complete 1,000 days of a consistent daily practice doing the same meditation every day. The meditation that I am doing currently is called Breaking the Mask. And so I think of these generational patterns and these conditionings as masks. So it's like we are blocking ourselves from being who we truly are, fully authentic, without feeling any guilt or any shame or any other emotion that would be judging ourselves, to fully shine, to fully be who we are without caring what other people think. And this is such a big task that we all have, because we have all been conditioned, and not just from our parents, not from our primary caregivers, but also from our teachers, from the society, what we watch on TV. All of it is conditioning. So even as a child, whatever we watched on a TV screen or movies was taken in as, at face value, as reality. We did not have our analytical brain formed until we were older. So that age bracket of being 0 to 7, we were picking everything up as if it was 100% truth, which then became our truth. And if things didn't feel safe, we created different ways of coping, different coping mechanisms, different emotional reactions, different ways of being to deal with the environment and the outside world. And this is why I think it is so important for children to learn the process of meditation, to learn ways to still themselves, to learn ways to be creative, to have an outlet, to release their energy, and to really learn the process of discernment. You know, it's so important that the generations that come forward are learning these new ways of being, these new techniques, these aspects that can help them to show up in their authenticity and not feel guilt or shame or embarrassment or any kind of negativity around being the full expression of who they are. And so today is really a day where we can honor our ancestors, honor our lineage. We can also go deep within and reflect on what habits, patterns, behaviors, programs we may be still playing out in our life that are not ours. It's a really great opportunity to call on our ancestors who have passed, to work with them, to pay reverence to them, because if it was not for them, we would not be here. And some of the struggles that they have been through have really paved the way for us to work through that generational trauma. And I can say in my own experience, my grandparents that I did know who were on earth at the same time as me, I have other grandparents that I never did meet. They were both in the war. And I know from the stories that they've told how it was for them, to a point, of course, because I would never know myself, but to feel what it would be like to be in their shoes, and to also see coping mechanisms when simply relating to other people, right? And the ways of being around others, and how that actually is reflective of their past experiences, and how it has also been part of my experience. And from my grandparents, seeing how my parents were raised, knowing the stories I've heard, seeing what they play out that is still part of their parents' story, and then it allowing me this opportunity to really see the pattern through the lineage, to notice when I'm playing that out, and to also be able to separate myself from that and be the witness and the observer, and to finally decide to clean that up, to clear it out, so that I can be the full expression of who I came here to be, as a divine channel for God, for Goddess. And we are all here as a divine channel. You know, if we can simply bring ourselves into a present state of awareness, into the present moment, free from all of the past baggage, free from all future expectations. Again, this is like an over and over again theme that I talk about. Present moment awareness, present moment state of being is where the magic is. We open ourselves like an energetic portal in those moments of presence, and we tap into infinite potential. We can literally create a whole new reality for ourselves from a state of presence. And in order to get to that state of presence, it is imperative that we do the work to clear out the shadow. And the shadow is so beautiful. There are so many lessons in the shadow. Without the shadow, there would be no light, right? And so we are moving through these spaces within ourselves to clear out the past, to do this inner work. And sometimes it can show up in physical pains, illnesses, and it becomes a purge within the body. And the body is releasing. And so we may have symptoms that show up while we're on our journey that are helping us to release. And it's an invitation in those moments where the body is going through a purge to take it easy, to slow down, to tune into what we need in that moment so that we can assist the healing process. Now, I think this video is going to be a few different themes because they're all coming in, and I'm just going with the flow of the messages coming in. And I want to share that, you know, we just got on the other side of the eclipse season. And this was one of the most potent experiences I have ever had during an eclipse season. It felt like the whole time, this is my way of saying shaking energy, high frequency coming in the body, and everything in our body was being shooken up. Everything, our whole body. My friend and I were having a conversation today, and when I said about our whole body feeling the shake up, she said it was like an earthquake, like an inner quake. And it's such a great way to actually explain it. And then I came back with explaining another thing, which I feel is so aligned with the energy. So we had the eclipse, which was a shakeup. It was the theme around relationships, the theme around abundance, material wealth, feeling secure in our body, right relationship with the self and with others. So there were all these themes at play, and everything is being shooken up, shooken up, shooken up. And whether we were aware on a conscious level of what was coming up or not, it does not actually matter, because the shakeup was happening regardless. From the mystery school teachings, the very first principle is the as above, so below, as within, so without. As the universe, so the soul. As above, within the cosmos, as within, on earth. As above, so below. As below on earth. So we have the cosmos impacting the earth. Every planet, every star system has an energetic field. The earth has an energetic field. Our bodies have an energetic field, and we are connecting in and merging with it all. So as above, so below. As within, whatever I'm playing in within my frequency, so without. I see and I experience an exact match to what I am emitting out, what I broadcast out as my frequency. So we had the eclipses. The eclipses were shaking everything up in our life, everything. And of course, many different ways we could have experienced it. It could have felt elated, blissful, excited about life, feeling depressed, exhausted, tired, anxious. There could have been so many ways we were experiencing it. And we went through that shakeup. And it was so interesting because Saturday the 28th was the final day, the final eclipse of that window of 2 weeks. And I woke up on the 29th, the very next day, and I completely felt like the portal was closed. It was closed, and the energy was different. I felt different, and it was like I was this new being, completely rebirthed, which led me to the next part where I felt like the whole time during the eclipse, I was in a tunnel, and it was like I was in the womb. And I was in the birthing tunnel. I was moving through, ready to be birthed, but I was being squeezed during this time, squeezed and squeezed and squeezed, right? And then now, on the other side of the eclipse, there's this rebirth. And I am in a whole new state of being within myself. And now it's about integration. It's about the processing of this new state of being, of this new way of being, of this new expression. And so after the eclipse, typically we will have this drop in energy because the energy is so high for 2 weeks straight. There's no rest. There's no break. A lot of people were not sleeping. I was not sleeping, like at all. The moment I hit the pillow, I fell asleep. Yet I was like so awake in my mind and ready for life that I was awake. I kept staying awake and not going to bed. And I was up like till the early hours of the morning. So now there was this drop right after the eclipses, the drop in energy and the relaxation now. And it's this opportunity to simply exhale, to simply allow whatever upgrades occurred to start to unfold, right? I talked about that a lot during eclipse season, that for the next 6 months, the energies will continue to unfold for you. And if you think about unfolding, it's a very gentle process. So the eclipse comes in with a blast and shakes everything up. And then we have this opportunity to continue working with the energies and to unfold and relax into the shifts and changes that occur in our life. And remember, the first thing that is necessary for us to move and work with the changes without resistance is to accept where we're at, to accept what's moving through us, to accept what we're feeling. And that is of utmost importance so that we can relax into this newness. And it is so much easier when we decide to simply accept. And from this acceptance, we can make a choice. And then that's where we take our power back. And so this birthing canal that we went through was the energy of Scorpio. And we were in the sun sign of Scorpio during that last part of the eclipse. On October 23rd, it started, and it was like the birthing was beginning. The death of the old, the birth of the new. And the eclipses are closing the door on the old, opening the door on the new. The energy was so potent this time, and it feels so different now on the other side of it. I'm going to leave this here for today. I'll be back tomorrow with an update about the energy of November. We have a really potent and powerful time coming up with this vibration of 11, of the 11th month. And a lot of it will be around the power of our word. Very recently, I heard the term, our word is our wand. And I feel like that is the best explanation, the best saying ever. It just burst my heart open. So our word is our wand. My word is my wand. That is the theme I am taking with me into November. And I'm going to share all about that in tomorrow's update. So thank you so much for joining me here today. Have a blessed Samhain and happy Halloween. And remember that this is the potent time to work with your ancestors, to honor them, to release and clear the old, to open up to your trueness, your wholeness, and your authenticity of who you are as a divine channel and expression of God, Goddess, Source, Universe, all of creation. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you tomorrow.